Yo, what's up guys, Ghost here, and today we're going to take a look at some of these stealth changes that have been found within update 5.2 that weren't included in the update notes. As you'll notice from the background footage, I have finally had the time to sit down and play some of 5.2, so we're also going to talk a little bit about the new gun meta after the SMG and LMG nerfs, and of course the Vault weapon buffs. And then I'm going to end on some Season 6 speculation based on how the community managers are currently acting. But first, if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. We are working our way up to 48,000 subscribers, and as always, any support you guys choose to give me is greatly appreciated. Okay, so overall, I have to say, I'm having a pretty good time with the Hourglass rework for what it is. You know, it's not the best Battlefield 2042 map or anything, but I think DICE did the best they could considering what they started with. However, some smaller 5.2 changes that have really made a big difference for me personally are things like the Su-57 change. So if you haven't tried this one out yet, the roll rate of this jet has been tweaked a little bit just to match the roll rate of the F-35, and it just feels a lot more snappy and maneuverable to control. I also really like the ammo crate change, you know, especially if I'm running smoke on Falk, for example. Smokes on this map are just so important, especially if you think about playing Breakthrough. The quicker cooldown on the ammo crate makes running smoke coupled with an ammo crate much more effective than it previously was. Okay, so let's move on to some of the stealth changes here, beginning with the Vault pistols. So as you may have read in the update patch notes, some of the Vault side weapons will be getting new attachments, and it turns out that those weapons are the M1911, the M93R, and the MP443. And of course, the biggest change here in my mind when it comes to Vault weapons that helps them get on par with the other weapons in the game are the extended magazines. So the M93R now has a new extended magazine, increasing its ammo count from 20 to 27. So this is a 3-round burst pistol, similar to the G57, only it's a 3-shot kill, whereas the G57 is a 4-shot kill. However, I do still find the G57 to be superior. You know, it has a faster rate of fire, you can get a laser sight on there, and its drum mag gives it a whopping 36 rounds, which is quite frankly insane. Now the MP443's extended mag puts its ammo count up from 17 to 27, but the sidearm that has seen, I would say, arguably the biggest change here is actually the good old classic M1911. This weapon is a 3-shot kill, so it's a pretty fast time to kill. It lies somewhere between like the Rex and the Deagle, which are 2-shot kill weapons, and you know, other 4-shot killer weapons like the G57. But it only had 7 rounds, which makes it pretty much useless. You can only hit 2 people with it, even if you hit every shot bar 1. But it has now received an extended magazine, giving it 17 rounds. That's almost a 150% larger magazine, which is pretty crazy, and it may actually make this gun good now. Now, unfortunately, I haven't unlocked the extended mag for it yet, but I will let you know if it's viable when I do. Moving on, enemy health bars are now highlighted as you damage them. They have this new inner glow type effect that fades in and out every time they take damage, and it sort of further helps to visually convey to the player that you are indeed dealing damage to the enemy. I think it looks pretty cool, but I have seen some people who say that they don't like this or they're not that fond of it, so they might want to consider adding an option to toggle it off or on, depending on how big of a problem this realistically is for people. Next, they've made a pretty significant change to the ping system. So pinging, as far as I can tell, no longer shows you the range of a target beyond 50 meters. Now, this could be a bug. I don't really know why they would make this change if it was indeed intended, because it does actually have a few gameplay implications. Firstly, many of us I know make use of the range of the ping to zero in the M5 recoilless launcher on a far away target with the rangefinder. Same thing with Zane's airburst, that has to be set to the correct distance if it's going to work, and being able to compare the spot distance to what your airburst is set to tells you whether or not you set it to explode at the correct distance. Honestly, I do hope this is just a bug, or if it isn't, I hope DICE will revert it. Now this next one isn't an intended change, but it is a rather significant bug that has been confirmed now by DICE. So the K30's recoil pattern is pulling very aggressively to the left. As I say, this is unintended and it will be fixed at some point, so I wouldn't recommend using this weapon at all until it has been. Next up, you will now receive assist points for designating a target with the SOFLAM. So if you SOFLAM a target and somebody else destroys that target, you will now receive a reward for doing so. I thought this had always been the case, but apparently not. But what do I know? I never play Recon, but yeah, good news for those Recon players out there. And then the final stealth change here is that you can now remove player card badges entirely. So those little badges that show off your various accolades on your player card, similar to the plus system, if you don't want to show something there, you can just remove it entirely and have the slot empty. Now moving on, let's talk a little bit about the new situation with SMGs and LMGs. So as most of you will know, the SMGs and LMGs have had their dispersion rates increased. Now the SMGs feel pretty much the same to me, like there's not that much of a difference, but the LMGs are certainly noticeably harder to use. You really do have to burst at those longer ranges, and so just like when we got the assault rifle nerfs and everybody just switched over to using SMGs and LMGs, now that they've been nerfed, a lot of people have been picking up the BSVM, which is of course a marksman rifle, which, as many of you will know, has always been an absolute beast. So that weapon in particular has seen a lot more usage lately. As for the Volt SMGs, the AKS-74U is definitely in a better spot now. I think both that weapon and the PP2000 are very close to the PP29 in overall effectiveness, especially since they got their new extended magazines. But even so, I still think the PP29 is the best SMG in the game, mainly because it's just so hard to trump that 64 round magazine. So we haven't seen as drastic of a rebalance here as we did with, you know, the MTAR and the ACWR in update 5.0. The P90 is definitely a very strong contender here as well, especially at those closer ranges, but then again, it always has been really. For the LMGs, the XM8 is a really good weapon here, pretty comparable to the Avances, I would say, but it still has the same magazine, of course, and again, this one has always been very effective. The M240B, again, is, you know, still a decent LMG, and the new compensators that are available certainly help with the recoil, but I still think they are easily outclassed by the RPT-31. So overall here, I don't think people will be, you know, flocking to any of the Volt weapons the way we did to the RM68 when that thing was way too good. But I do think DICE have done a good job getting these weapons to more closely compete with the rest of the flock. So if you're the kind of player who doesn't want to necessarily use the best on-meta weapon all the time, you can pick up one of these Volt weapons, you know, just because it hits you in the fields and you like the sound of it, or it's just a cool gun, and now you can actually compete with it. So pretty good job there, DICE. Now, to cap off this video, I wanted to come back to Season 6 here again, and like I mentioned in my last video, according to Ryan MacArthur and what he said during the Games Radar interview, people are going to be quite surprised about Season 6, and it's going to bring something unexpected with it. Now, I posted this on Twitter a couple of days ago, and so did Mary, the CAD woman, and this person here, Midas Gaming, replied to her saying, "CAD, I really don't think this is set to end up accounting for anything significant really, just marketing talk. I personally think we'll see something like Season 5, if the map is actually as good. That said, I am still open to be proven wrong." And I think this was a lot of people's takes. It was just marketing talk, and Ryan was using the opportunity during that interview to try and generate a bit of hype for the next season. However, community manager Kevin Johnson came in here saying, "Come back to this and let us know when it is time for us to start talking about it." Which makes me think there is definitely something with this season that actually will surprise us all. Now previously I would have said perhaps we're getting 2 maps instead of 1, that actually would be a surprise, but during this week's Inside Battlefield podcast, the guest they had there, who works on the maps, said that he was very excited for the new Season 6 map. And the way he spoke about it It really made it sound as if there was only one map coming as per usual, so who knows, maybe it's a complete one-to-one remake, possibly Operation Metro, another favourite like Wake Island perhaps. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, guys. As always, a big thank you to my members for your additional support. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for watching as well. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Hit that sub button for more Battlefield content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one.